We're in the Austin community on the west side of Chicago, and unfortunately that has a reputation and a history here in Chicago of being a fairly high poverty, high crime neighborhood. The kids face a lot of obstacles to success, and I think a lot of that is around low expectations. We want to set a high bar. We want to set some high expectations and goals for kids, but then we also want to make sure that we're right there next to them, helping them work toward those goals.
I think it starts with acknowledging that there is an issue. As we begin to have these conversations, and for everyone to be aware of what we say when we mean equitable practices, we as a team have begun to look at a variety of data points. Those points of data paint a picture for us for the whole child. We are able to use various sources to help inform our decisions, and then we are able to take that data from observation cycles, collaboration, student work, and assessments, and make better decisions as it pertains to students. And then it impacts when teachers come together to talk about and to plan and to engage in these conversations that opens up their mind to not only learn, but to change their practice. If I think of a pilot, if I think of a driver, I am sitting in the seat, and so I have these tools in front of me that will guide me to where I'm going. Without data, it is impossible for me to do my work. Without data, it's impossible for teachers to do theirs, because it's not, the days of just opening up a book and flipping the pages is over. We have to know how to meet the students where they are, address the needs and the deficits that they have, and the only way that we can get an accurate picture of that is through data.
I think that there's this idea of a pacing guide that we should follow, and there's so much that we need to accomplish within a year. However, I think using the assessment allows us to slow down and really think about how we are approaching the student learning. If we're not getting it through a tier 1 in a certain type of way, then maybe that assessment allows us to say we need to shift the teaching method, and then let's provide a different lens of how we can attack the standard, or how we can attack this student learning. So we're using these mid-module assessments to say, okay, we've been teaching for 5 weeks. How have our students, how have they grown? How have they able to show or display mastery? And if they haven't captured it in certain areas, then it says, okay, this is where we need to stop. And then maybe we need to go back, and then we need to fill in some other foundational gaps.
Once we dig deep and we see there are some issues, we're looking at our students, their people. Then we're looking at what are they deficient in? What are the growth areas? What do we need to do? We always want students to have rigorous instruction. We always want our students to have that great tier 1 instruction. But there are students that are falling behind. So that data is a source and a resource to help us get to that next level. We want to meet our students where they are, but we can't make that decision without looking at the data.
Yeah, I think ANET does a terrific job of setting a high bar for a school, for a staff, and then subsequently for kids and families, right? They are trying to help us understand where our kids are at, where our instruction is at, and what high quality instruction and goals and metrics really looks like. How do we set a high standard for our kids? How do our teachers work to help our kids achieve that standard? So I think ANET's going to help significantly in that regard.